Hi, I'm Frank from Galileo Capital. In today's video, we're going to answer the question, how much is enough to retire in South Africa? Now, today's video is for information only. This isn't financial advice. But over the years, we've helped thousands of clients answer this key question. They ask themselves, how much do I need to retire? Now, the answer to this question is not the same for everybody. It depends on your age, it depends on your circumstances, it depends on your personal needs. But what I'm going to do in today's video is outline the steps to figure out for yourself how much you need to retire. And if you stick around to the end of the video, you'll be able to download a free calculator that'll help you work this out for yourself. The big idea is that this is about an income, not a big lump sum. People live on a monthly amount. They don't live on a big pot of money. So we need to work out first, what is it that you need to live on a daily basis? So how much do you need each month after tax? Then we're going to back that out to your retirement number. By the time you retire, how much do you need saved in order to fund your lifestyle going forward? So step one, let's work out what your monthly retirement budget should be. So how do we do that? We start with your current expenses. What do you currently spend on medical aid, gap cover, groceries and household basics, transport, rates and utilities, domestic help, entertainment and travel? So figure out what your current monthly expenses are, and then decide whether you will still have these expenses in retirement or not. Some are no longer relevant, like your mortgage repayments. By the time you retire, you should have paid off your house. But some costs, like healthcare, will be more expensive than they are today. And so you've got to factor that in and perhaps make that figure in your monthly budget bigger. Let's take Jane as an example. So Jane lists all of her current expenses and they come to about 35,000 Rand per month. But she spends 8,000 Rand a month on repaying the bond on her house. So in retirement, her monthly budget is actually 27,000 Rand per month, or that's what she'll need in retirement. But Jane also says that she'd like to travel more in retirement, and she wants to add 3,000 Rand a month towards this. So if we take the 27,000 Rand a month that she needs to live and the 3,000 Rand a month that she wants to save towards travel, Jane now needs 30,000 Rand per month. So the second step is to take your spending and convert that into an annual income need. Let's continue with Jane's example. Jane needs 30,000 Rand per month, multiply that by 12, and so Jane needs 360,000 Rand a year. And this becomes Jane's after-tax number. This is what she needs after she's paid SARS, the taxes on her retirement. Now, it's also important to allow for lumpy costs. These are costs that are maybe not monthly costs, possibly not even yearly costs. In Jane's example, Jane needs to replace her car. And so she budgets 400,000 Rand to replace her car every 10 years. And if you back that out into an annual number, that's 40,000 Rand a year. Right. So Jane needs 30,000 Rand a month or 360,000 Rand a year. And on top of that, she's adding 40,000 Rand a year towards buying a new car once every 10 years. And so Jane's annual number is 400,000 Rand. The third step is to apply a safe withdrawal rate. So depending on their age, South African retirees typically shouldn't withdraw more than 4 or 5% per year from a living annuity. Why is this? Well, it's because of volatile markets, it's because of a relatively high inflation rate in South Africa, and it's because retirees are living longer. If you draw more than 4 or 5% from your living annuity, it drastically reduces the chance that you'll run out of money in retirement. Let's take a look at this table. This is from the ASISA Living Annuity Standard. That helps retirees understand what happens if they draw down different rates from their living annuity. The assumption here is that inflation is 6%. At the top, you've got different returns. These are returns before inflation and after all fees. So for example, if your return is 10% a year and inflation is 6% per year, you've got a real return of 4%. On the left-hand side is the annual income rate selected at the beginning of your living annuity. Let's take a look at the 5% income. If the market gives us 10% per year or a 4% real return, this income will last a retiree about 33 years before that income starts to reduce. So looking at this table, you can see that in a very few instances, your retirement income is expected to last you 30 or 40 years, which is probably a fair reflection on most people's retirement these days. Jane is planning to retire at 65 years. Assuming she lives to 100, we need to fund 35 years of retirement. And in that case, we think a 4% drawdown rate is a safe drawdown rate. So step number 4 is to calculate your required capital, your retirement number. How much do you need when you retire in order to fund your retirement? Again, let's take Jane's example. You take her annual income requirement and divide it by her withdrawal rate. So remember, Jane needs an income of 400,000 Rand per year at a withdrawal rate of 4%. If you take 400,000 Rand and divide it by 4%, you get 10 million Rand. Remember, these are rough guides and not personalized advice. But in Jane's particular example, she needs a retirement number of 10 million Rand to fund her 400,000 Rand a year income for her 35 years of retirement. Step number 5 is to add a margin of safety. So there are 3 big risks that retirees face in South Africa. The first is inflation risk. This is the risk that the cost of your goods and services increase faster than expected and faster than your income can provide for. And so, because things become more and more expensive, you begin to afford less and less in your retirement. The second is longevity risk. So this is the risk that you live longer than your money. And the third is market risk. This is the risk that in your retirement, you have very poor returns early on in your retirement, and this can damage your returns going forward and your ability to fund your retirement into the future. And so we really encourage our clients to build in a margin of safety. Again, let's take Jane as an example. We calculated that Jane would need 10 million Rand to fund her 400,000 Rand income for 35 years. But let's add a margin of safety. In Jane's case, we could add 10% or 1 million Rand. And so that brings her retirement capital to 11 million. It's not a requirement, but it is a useful shock absorber should some of our plans not materialize into her retirement. What about you? What if you want to retire at 50 or 60 or 65? Do you need help to calculate your retirement number? We've built a calculator that can help you do just that. It takes you through the steps that I've mentioned in this video. Look in the link below to download that free calculator. Also, if you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for future content. We also have a monthly newsletter where we send out all of our latest thoughts on retirement and investment planning. You'll also find the link for that down below in the description. And finally, if you have any questions or comments or would like to know anything, please put them in the comments below. We won't be able to answer all of them, but perhaps we can answer them in future videos. But what if you don't have this retirement number yet? Well, here are a few quick, empowering ideas that could help you. Why don't you work 2 or 3 years longer? That can have a huge financial impact on your retirement. It means you've got more years to save up towards your retirement, and it also means you've got fewer years to fund in your retirement. How about a phased retirement approach? Maybe stop working full-time, but take on part-time employment or consult back to your company for a few years. You can also consider a guaranteed annuity. In some cases, we've been able to increase the effective drawdown rate we can get for our retirees to 5.5% or even 6%. I can't go into the differences in this video, but comment below if you'd like me to touch on the differences between a living annuity and a life annuity or guaranteed annuity. If you're really struggling, why don't you get in touch? We've helped thousands of retirees just like you plan for and have financial peace of mind into their retirement. Until next time, cheers.